Hey, welcome back to the Family Show. I'm Sam with
Pastor Todd
and our good buddy Have. Todd, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, buddy. Doing good. I'm excited to continue the conversation, but I heard that Have's got some games and shenanigans for us.
Yes. We couldn't keep going without having a new game.
All right. Well, we are so excited about the game.
Well, you see, in light of our conversation last week about grads, I thought a fun game today would be something about graduation.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Is that what this laptop is?
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Today's game is called Who Graduate My Diploma?
Graduate.
Get it? Like
I get it.
Like 8.
Graduate.
Yeah.
Like
Delicious.
yeah, not the number.
Like num num.
Uh-huh. Okay. Now, listen, let's do it one more time. Who graduate my homework? Or diploma. Who graduate my diploma?
And are we pointing up?
No,
And we're pointing up and then the titles and all
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Like that magic. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
All right, here we go. Ready?
Who graduate my diploma?
There's so many syllables.
I know, I don't think there's enough
syllables.
room on the screen for all that.
Graduate.
Graduate my diploma.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, what I'm going to do for today's game is I prepared for you 5, that's this hand plus 1, videos.
Well, we got 4 there, buddy.
5, there we go, videos
Okay.
of graduation fails.
Okay.
You are going to guess what goes wrong just before it goes wrong.
Uh-oh.
And I'll give you
right.
some suggestions.
Okay.
Are
All
you
right.
ready?
We're ready.
I'm ready. You ready, Todd?
Yeah.
Are you all ready, kids?
So how do we see these?
All right. There's a computer in front of you.
Okay.
You'll hit the space bar.
Okay.
So go ahead and hit it now.
All right.
Okay.
Grad fail.
Fail number 1. Hit the space bar again.
Oh.
So this boy here, he goes to grab his diploma.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So what happens next? One of 3 things. Are you ready?
Okay.
Ready.
1, he falls
Okay.
off the stage.
Like completely off.
Like, boo.
Yoo-hoo! Okay.
2, he gives that principal a noogie.
A noogie. I love noogies.
Noogies are great. That's how my Grammy woke me up every morning for 14 years.
That's awkward.
What a gift. What a gift.
And number 3,
Okay.
he becomes Superman.
He becomes Superman.
Uh-huh. Which one do you think it is?
I'm going with number 3.
He becomes Superman.
Yeah, I like Superman.
How about you, Sam?
I'm going to go with he falls off the stage.
Oh, he
Right.
falls off the stage. Okay,
Okay.
go ahead and hit the space bar. Let's find out.
Please take. What is happening? Let me just do the wind dance. Let's go.
Oh, no. Pastor Todd.
Let's go.
Woo! Okay,
Perfect.
go ahead and hit the space bar. Let's move on to the second.
Okay.
All right. Grad fail 2.
Okay, go. Oh, these 2 graduates are walking off the stage. So one of a couple things is gonna happen. 1, the girl on the left falls, and she cries.
Oh, that's sad. That's sad.
Or the girl on the right falls, and she starts a catwalk-style fashion party.
Yeah. Okay.
Which one?
I'm going to go with the girl on the left falls
And she
and cries. And she
Ooh.
cries.
I'm going with the girl on the right in the fashion party, for sure. Her eyes
that
are
seems
her.
unlikely, but let's see what happens. Go ahead and hit
Yeah.
the space bar.
Oh.
Oh.
And
Hey! Let's go!
Oh, man. I'm not good at this game.
This is great.
Okay, let's keep this
All
trend
right.
going.
Hey, any of you kids at home that are 0-2,
Yeah.
you're right with me. Great job.
Let's do this.
All right,
people.
grad fail 3.
Number 3.
Don't call it a comeback.
Oh, here we have a rogue graduate. He thinks he can run away from graduation into the next season of life. My question to you two is, how many seconds does he make it before he gets tackled.
Before he gets tackled?
There's a bonus question here.
Okay.
Does he make it to home base?
I don't think he makes it to home base. And
here's your options. 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or 12 seconds.
I'm going 5.
I'll say 10 seconds, and I don't think it's the home base either.
No.
Okay, go ahead and hit the space bar. Let's find out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
He's down.
Oh, and he didn't make it to home base.
Okay, Sam.
That
Hey.
poor guy.
Don't
Good
call it a
job,
comeback.
Sam.
Yeah, good
Thanks,
job, bro.
everyone.
Good job,
Thanks,
good job.
everyone at home. Thank you.
I'm still
All
winning.
right. Grad fail number 4.
Number 4. Here we
Okay.
go.
Okay, so here's the deal with this one. The girl on the left in the front, she falls.
Okay.
I'm just going to let you know. The question is, does she fall 2 times, 3 times, or 4 times?
Is it bad for me to say I really hope she falls 4 times? But like
Let's hope
I'm going to
so.
go with 4.
We'll see what happens. Ready?
Go
All
with
right.
4.
I'll say 3, just for gamesmanship.
Let's see. 1.
1.
But it's the heels.
2.
It's so bad. 3. Oh, no. Oh,
Oh, does
Come
she
on.
fall a 4th time?
no. Come on.
No!
Oh, no, just 3.
Oh,
Oh.
Sam
it's
won an
2-2.
epic comeback.
It's a tie.
Yeah, 2-2. All right.
Okay.
Hey,
Which
no
leads-
big deal.
Hey.
It's a tie.
Yeah.
Ooh, a tie game, y'all.
All right.
Here we go.
All you
This
kids
is
at
the
home,
fifth
can you
and
feel the
final.
suspense?
Let's see.
Ooh, that was a short setup.
Yeah, it was.
Someone didn't hit record in time. Let's see what happens here. So, one of 3 things will happen.
Okay.
He loses his hat.
Okay.
He does a cartwheel. Or he falls. What are you thinking there?
I'll let you go first, buddy.
I'm going to say he does a cartwheel.
A cartwheel.
I'm saying he falls.
Oh, and he falls. Let's see what he does. Go ahead and hit the space bar. Loses his hat.
He lo-
Does
and
a
a cartwheel.
And falls. Too good.
Oh.
Too good.
So technically
Too
we're
good.
all right.
So you technically got it right, which means we have a tie.
Exactly.
Hey.
Oh my goodness. So I've got a couple prizes for y'all.
Okay.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
All right, all right.
Hey, down there digging. What's he got? Hopefully he does it. Uh-oh.
Here you go, Sam. This one's for you. This is incense. And it's not just any incense. It's incense I found in Casey McPherson's office.
Excited.
Yeah.
Thank you, Casey. Appreciate it.
I've never lit it, so I can't guarantee what it smells like.
So generous of Casey.
Oh, yes. And for you, Todd, hold on.
Okay. I'm excited. Something from Dave's office, maybe? That'd be fun.
Oh, you get this Riverbend mug with a
at-
picture of the Home for Hope on the front.
Look at that.
Yes. Now that's a very special gift, and it comes with 2 conditions. One is a rule, and one is a warning.
Okay.
The warning is, if someone comes and says to you, "Hey, that's my mug," it's probably their mug. And the rule is, if someone comes to you and says, "Hey, where did you get that mug? Because it belongs to me," you say, "Dave Haney gave it to me."
Okay.
Okay.
I can totally do that. I can totally do
Okay.
that. Well, hey, that was an awesome game, man. Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
Woo!
Well, I got to tell you guys, we're excited to sort of continue our conversation that we had last week with Scoops. It was a great conversation talking about how to help your kids with disappointment and really sort of focusing a little bit on the class of 2020.
Yep.
So it should be a great conversation. We want you guys to take a look and hope you enjoy. We'll talk to you next week.
We'll see ya.
Hey, everybody. Well, welcome back. We're so excited you guys are here again. Just to sort of focus a little bit and remind you about what we've been talking about. We've had our panel sort of having a conversation about how to deal with disappointment in your kids and how to handle grief. So to speak. We've been talking a little bit about the graduating classes, whether they're from preschool all the way up through college, and just how those things are affecting them. And one of the things I wanted to mention as we continue our conversation before we jump in is a couple of things. Our amazing buddy, Daney, I know that some of the kids may have some questions.
Love him so
I love
much.
that guy.
Yeah.
He's so amazing. So handsome.
Travis has a special connection with him, and so we're super excited about him being around. But we know that some of the kids may actually have some questions for him. So I want to encourage the kids, if parents, as you guys are watching this, if you have a question for Have, if you'll do me a favor and shoot me an email at tmears@riverbend.com, TMEARS, just like M and ears at riverbend.com. And I'll make sure on the air that we ask those questions. And on top of that, parents, as you have questions, those kind of things, feel free to email us. But we'd also love to see your comments on YouTube and on Facebook as this gets shared. And we'll definitely reach out to you and engage with them. Any one of us will. So as we continue to sort of jump into this, Pastor Sam, you ready to take it?
Yep. So just real quick, if you weren't with our show last week, I'm Sam Boone. I'm our family pastor here at Riverbend. And Samantha Cooper, Scoops, is our youth pastor here. And Travis Taylor is our young adults pastor. And Todd Mears is our children's pastor. And we're talking about grief, loss. And so we just wanted to pick up from that last week. If you didn't see it, jump back. You can watch that video. But what was there anything that you guys didn't get to share last week? Maybe something that after we talked, like, hey, this would be a really something that I really wanted to talk about that I didn't get an opportunity to say, or anything that's kind of lingering in your mind?
Yeah, I think for me is the word lamenting. I think that as Christians, sometimes we don't want to tell God we are angry, and we don't want to tell God that we are sad, but we are called as a people to lament. And so when things are hard, we're allowed to tell God that. We're allowed to tell God that we don't like what's happening, that we are sad, that we are angry, that we feel gypped. You know, He wants to know that. He wants to hear from us, and that He doesn't just want to hear the good. So as you're going through this time and you feel those things, share them with God, because He needs that. He wants to hear that. He wants to walk with you through that. Yeah.
And I love, just even on that, for parents, Romans 12 tells us to weep with those who weep, or to mourn with those who mourn. And I think even for us as parents, that's something that we're called to do with our kids, not just with other adults, not just with other people who are in our world that are experiencing difficulty or crisis or all sorts of things, but actually even with our own children, even our little kids. We're called to mourn with them, to weep with them, even it's over the loss of something small, like I can't go to the park or I can't play with my friends, and to actually be able to feel that. I think that's a powerful thing for us to be able to experience, and for us to be able to even, a gift we can give to our kids.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So this week we want to kind of head a little bit more toward last week we kind of talked about, here's a lot of the loss and disappointment. We really want to look toward what's some of the celebration, what's some of the things that we can, some of the positive things even in this season. So Scoops, maybe you can share a little bit. And I'd love to ask all of us, but what are some of the ways that we can help students celebrate this transition? I know you just had something with the students, maybe you can share that, but even for the rest of us, are there ways that we can help students who are graduating, whether it's from middle school or elementary school or even preschool, high school, college? How can we celebrate with them?
Yeah, we were lucky enough to be able to hold a kind of mock graduation with our seniors. We had 9 seniors and their families show up, and we got to use the Home for Hope Sanctuary so we could spread out and be social distance, but they got to walk the stage. And so we kind of set up a whole just graduation ceremony. Dave Haney, not Have Daney. Dave Haney,
the real Dave Haney,
spoke as our commencement speaker, and they got to walk the stage. They wore their cap and gown. Lots of pictures taken. They got to do the hat toss. So it was just it wasn't the same. You know, it's not what they were expecting, but we got to celebrate with them, and that was really special. And I think schools have done that too, where they've tried to set up some sort of graduation in one way or another. And so trying to make those celebrations happen. I mean, you're seeing things like some good news prom that was happening. So making things like that happen, and it doesn't have to be a big deal, even if it's small, just acknowledging that didn't happen, and here's a way we could do it. You know?
That's great.
I know in our neighborhood, it was a few weeks ago, they did a parade. It was for all the grads that live in that neighborhood, but there must have been 150 cars. Wow. And it was crazy. They were all decorated, had all their, their high school grad stuff on, but then also the colleges they were going to. Their parents were driving their cars. And we sat out front. Our little boy, Danny, who's 2, thought it was the best thing in the world. He's like, I clapped the whole time. And every time cars ride down our street now, he's like, oh, it's a parade. It's a parade. But it was such an incredible thing and such a celebration. And I just wonder, is that going to be something, some of these traditions that we're experiencing now that maybe like we might begin to like, hey, we're going to carry this on. We're going to continue to do neighborhood parades in our cars for our grads, because it was such a unique and such a just such a great celebration for these students who are missing so much. And it was an exciting thing to be a part of.
That's great.
So let's talk about maybe even our families. What are some ways that the quarantine has been positive for your family? So a lot of this loss, we're talking about quarantine because a lot of this loss has come from the quarantine. What are some of the ways that this quarantine or some of this loss, some of this disappointment, how has it been positive for your family?
Every time I've ever talked to parents when their kids are going through something, this circumstance obviously, but anything in life, the thing that I know about kids and 16 years of doing children's ministry is they're very resilient. Extremely resilient. They will press through and they'll be okay. And I think they're learning to be even more resilient through this. Things that really sort of took the wind out of our sails when this all began have gotten a little bit easier. They've learned to sort of, I think some days you have your kids that probably they're best friends, and then sometimes they're just like, we need to make sure we have 2 separate buildings that the children stay in because it's just not working out, right? But I think they're becoming really, really resilient through all of this. And, something that I found that I wanted to share, it said, we're still here. We're still getting up every day and doing it. Maybe not perfectly, maybe not even adequately. We're showing up, and so are our kids. They are learning as we go, and so are we. It may not be great or even good, but it's enough. I'll tell you, as a kid that lost my dad when I was 19 years old, I would give anything to have those moments back. And what I would tell you, if I could tell any parent, me being on the latter years of my children, I miss those years whenever they were younger. And this is, I encourage you within as much as you can to just try to find the positive and slow things down. You can't figure everything out in a day, not even in a week. Life takes time, and God guides those interactions. But try to be as present as you can, and just try to enjoy the moment, because your kids are going to be fine, and you pray over them. And you believe that God's, when your kids are born, you're like this, you're just, tight, and you got them right there. But then parenting is constantly this process of slowly opening your hand. And now I'm in sort of this mode with my kids.
Yeah. Well, you have one who's married. Your grandchild on the way.
So, but still, you sometimes get warped back to here and that kind of thing. But they're going to be okay, and do as best you can. But give yourself grace. That's one of the things that I remember Travis said in the last program is give yourself grace to make mistakes, but be big enough to stand in front of your kids and go, you know what? I messed up there. It'll be okay.
Yeah. I think, in the last episode talking about the grace, I was saying how it's hard to be present and not available, but you're always present. And there actually is a really unique blessing to always being present. I mean, for the first time, I've been able to do the breakfast routine every single morning with my children. Without having to get dressed and get rushed out the door, and only having to get myself ready from the waist up for a Zoom meeting, save some time. And it's just, it makes life just that much easier. And I get to enjoy these really unique, fun moments. And, I feel like my days beforehand were full of text messages from my wife with goofy little things that our kids were doing. But now I get to see them firsthand. You know, I get
Yeah.
to glance up and just see them, and there's something really awesome about, even though we're pressing through it, and I am trying to be as available as possible to my family, and sometimes I'm not. But being present, you do get to catch some of those moments. And there is a lot of really cool mixed blessing in there. This is, in a strange way, it's brought our family really close together in these times, and we've been able to do just a lot more with that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I know for me, it's, you know, my wife and I, we've talked quite a bit in the last 2.5 months about how, like, it feels like it's gone through spurts for us where it's like everything feels really good and it's just flowing and everything's easy. And then like we hit like, this feels really hard. And like, it's like these rhythms where it's just kind of back and forth and up and down. But the blessing for us is being able to like talk a lot more, interact a lot more, be able to like even take our little boy swimming, taking him to the pool, playing in the backyard, going on a bike ride middle of the afternoon. We'll just, hey, we're going to go down. Well, they just opened the pool like a week ago. So this is it's our community pool. Yay. So we've been going to the community pool. Social distancing definitely in place. So don't judge me. Don't. But it's been great to be able to hang out with him and have fun with him and play with him, with our older girls, be able to do some like fun things with them. We you know, and just go on some little trips, and like that has been a real blessing that we haven't been able to experience. And I think that's been some of the ways it's been positive for our family. It's given us definitely more time together.
I'm curious to find out, you know, Scoops, you live in a house with what, a couple roommates?
Yeah, I've got 3 roommates.
Yeah. How do you, you know, what are those positives as you think about it?
You know, I think what I've noticed is I'm grateful that I live with people. I feel for the people that are in homes alone. You know, so that I can't imagine that. So I'm just grateful to be around people, and it's the same sort of thing. Time. We have more time to hang out together. Normally during a week, at least 2 or 3 of us are out doing something at night after work, but we can't. We just can't. And so it's, you know, hanging out, or our friends are coming to our backyard, you know, doing the social distance thing, but just sitting outside and talking. And so it just feels like you have more time. And even for me, I don't have kids, but I have 2 nephews, and they live in Cedar Park. And normally, you know, I may see them once a month, even though they're 20 minutes away. But I've gotten to the point, my sister's working from home. She's a single mom. I am going once a week to hang out with them and take them to do something fun, or just to go on a walk, you know, and to get them out of their house. And so that's just been a blessing for me. It's just time. I feel like it's not always, but it feels like there's a little bit more time to connect with people. And that's been really good. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. Well, I would just tell parents that, you know, it before you know it, you're going to be right back to shuffling this kid to ballet, this kid to band practice, this kid to soccer practice. You're going to have meetings. You're going to have all of the things that are going to happen. And I know it's cliche, and my mom always said it, when you put your 2 feet on the ground, be thankful for the moment that you have. Because we will be back to the busy, chaotic life that we were used to. And I think, you know, me personally, I think that something really special has happened within the structures of families right now. Yeah. And so in some cases, you know, I think those things happen sort of being forced down our throat. And I think we're all in that boat, but I can't stress how valuable this time is to just be present. You don't have to be perfect, but just, you know, being available and being present is big.
Yeah, and so for us, there's a lot of ways that we're seeing, hey, here's how it's paused. I can see the spin on it, and I can see, here's some good things that have come out of it. But what about our kids? How do we help our kids see the positive? How do we help them understand there's something positive, especially when they've really lost, you know, maybe seemingly everything in their life is gone? How do we help them process through that, and how can we help them see the positive in a difficult situation?
I think for me, this takes me back to Mr. Rogers. My dad loves Mr. Rogers. So he said something about, not my dad, Mr. Rogers said this. Don't credit my dad. But when Mr. Rogers was a boy and bad things would happen, his mom would tell him to look for the helpers. Look for the people that are helping other people. And so there have been some awful things happening in our world since March, and it seems like it continues to get worse. But if we can point out the people that are doing good, right, the things that are good in this, the people that are helping, that are using this time to serve others and to help others, I think that shows them that not everything is bad. There are people in humanity that are doing good. God is still working in this and allowing the good to show. God's glory will come from this, and he's showing that in the helpers.
That's great. There's something big about whenever you aren't focused on yourself and you're in a serving role, whatever that is, whether you're making masks for people or, helping deliver something or donating things or, handing out food at the food pantry, whatever it may be. When you start serving others, it, changes your perspective.
Yeah, and I like for our older girls, we're having those conversations. Our younger boy, he's 2, and he just wants to play. And if I'm there to play with them, everything's all good, right? If his mom's there to play with them, it's all good. But with our older girls, we're having a freshman, just finished freshman year and going to be a senior in high school, and really, I think that thing of getting our kids to serve, and actually for them, when they are able to see beyond themselves and see there's need in the world around them, there's people who are hurting, there's people who are struggling, and actually they've got it really good and they've got some opportunity and a place and a platform to be able to serve others and bless others and love others. That is actually a very empowering thing, and it moves us from a state of feeling like, oh, I'm a victim, poor me, to actually no, I'm empowered and I want to do something, I want to help, I want to serve people, and I think that's a powerful thing. I think for our parents to be able to grasp and maybe even help our kids with. That's a hard thing though. Because we've had a long journey, and it's last 2.5 months, and it's been a lot up and down. So
I started thinking the other day, how would we have navigated the past 11 weeks if we had known it was going to be 11 weeks?
Yeah,
you ever thought about that?
Oh, totally. And I know for a fact that like going into this thing, I was like, I'm going to come out of this thing with my like post-COVID bod on, and I'll probably have like a degree in something, and I'll have like genius children, and I was like, I'm gonna own this pandemic moment, and it
loads of Netflix.
Yeah, I just visit the donut shop a lot, and I watch a lot of Netflix.
Favoring a lot of food.
Yeah, I think I've burned through all of Netflix. It's
my kids being very similar to little Daniel. We've got this, or Daney, sorry, officially Daney.
Yep, legally.
Yeah, because it's not Daniel Boone.
Not Daniel
Let's
Boone.
not go there.
No.
They're really easy to make kind of happy, and and truthfully, they're not necessarily looking to understand the situation.
Yep.
They're just want to make sure their belly is full and that the PlayStation 4 controller is charged. Like they look like they're very low bar. However, as a parent, something that we just really try to reinforce and do is help them understand the blessing that we've been given, the opportunity that we have to continue to kind of give back to our community and help out in a unique way. My son asked me the other day, because I've started to come back to the church to work, was what do you do at work that's so important?
Wow.
Because I'm starting to go back, and he's like, I've gotten so used to you being home, and so he's gotten so used to this new kind of, he's resilient. This is what he's picked up on. And so it's really started some really good, interesting conversations about how to be encouraging to the world around us, and how even though they're not fully capable of understanding how to get through this pandemic or what it even is, we do as parents have an opportunity to plant these seeds of like, because of the victory that's won, because of the faith that I have, I can walk strong through this thing. Like we don't have to walk through fear. I think that's really helped us out a lot, is having to look forward and not just like try to help a 6-year-old understand the situation, but help a 6-year-old understand how his parents are pushing through, the situation.
That's great.
Yeah, because he can't pick up on the world around him, but he can pick up on how his parents are feeling.
Yes. So as we wrap up, kind of just the last thought, and we've kind of been talking the idea of what do we do? How do we help our kids? So last question is, what are some things we do as families to really capitalize on this now? What could families be doing together to capitalize on this time? And as it seems like things are opening up, but I know some parents are like, we may not be back in any sort of social environment for the next 3 months or 2 months, or hey, we're ready right now.
Yeah.
So this could be longer than maybe we expect. What are some things that families could do right now that could really capitalize on this time? As you were talking about the conversation with your son and how he's perceiving, like, oh, hey, no, I want you to be around. I don't want you to leave. What can families do? Any thoughts?
This may be silly and funny, but this is so my family. We play board games, like lots of board games.
Yeah.
We found out who the competitive people are. We've realized that my wife actually beats all of our fannies in games in most ways because she's just quiet. Like me and Ryan and Michaela are sort of running our mouth. Laura, my daughter-in-law, she was on a losing streak that was pretty bad. Like we almost pushed her to tears there for a second, but she recovered. So we play lots of games and just try to do something away from looking at a screen.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's the whole point.
Yep.
We'll sit on the back patio or we'll do something that's not, because that just feels automatic,
Yep.
So that's what we've been doing.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah.
I would also say, with younger kids, it's a little harder, but Todd had said this in the last episode that serving the community in need right now has such a huge impact on your ability to process your purpose in it. And there are opportunities for families as units to step in and help. Riverbend.com/help is a website you can go to that can kind of outline some resources that the church has to allow you to plug in that way. And I would say that if anything is churned in your heart to be like, maybe we should step in because we have margin in any way, shape, or form, you can be used in that way. And it's a phenomenal way to push through a situation like this is to know that you are a helper, to know that you are one of the ones that's stepping in and making a difference.
Yeah, I think what that just comes down to is spending time together. I think that's most important, whether it's board games or serving together or just watching a movie together if you can't handle the doing something, but just the being together while you have the time. Because like Todd said, it's at some point or another, it's going to get back to the busy, the crazy. So while you have the time, spend that time with your family, be engaged in some way, shape, or form.
Thanks, Scoops. Well, thank you, Scoops, for being with us. And,
absolutely.
This was a great conversation. I think phenomenal, really helpful. I hope it's been helpful for you guys as families. Yeah. Any closing thoughts, Todd, before we send off?
I just want to make sure that you, whether you go to this church or not, where you live in Austin, wherever you may be, I want you to know that we don't have all the answers, but we know who does. And between this crew of people and Dr. Dave Haney, not Dave Daney, but Dave Haney, we're here for you. We're here to help, and we want you to know that. This is not easy. We don't claim to have all the answers. I had a really bad, last Monday, but I'm doing better today. So I think we all experience that. So hear from each one of us. I sort of speak for all of us that we're available. If you need us to just talk, whatever it may be, whatever you're going through, sometimes it's just being heard. It is the most important thing. And once again, if you need to contact us, email me at tmears@riverbend.com. You can also contact the info email at Riverbend as well, and it'll get sort of dispersed to all of us. But reach out. You can find all of our email addresses on riverbend.com mine's /kids, but any of us, we're available. And we love you, and we can't wait to hug you. I said this the other, I think when I did service host, just fair warning, folks, when I get to see you, it's going to get weird. It just is. It is. So.
That makes me feel uncomfortable. So on that, thank you for being with us. We'll see you next week. Thank you for joining the family show.